everyone, and welcome to our Saturday morning broadcast. My name is Mark, and Vim is on camera with me this morning. Alex in final control. A beautiful sunny on our drive over here from Manuleti when we were coming through just before sunrise. Had a beautiful sunrise just as we got to Vuyatela, and it's proving to be hoping to be a very nice day. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. It is the end of January. It is our last day, as it were, from what we were all understanding, and we've had a reprieve, and luckily we'll be carrying on from Monday or so. We're going to need a day or maybe a bit more to pack everything up in Manuleti and bring satellite dishes and all sorts of things down. So today, being the last day of January, also of course the last day that Vim and Alex will be here for a little while. So we'll be saying goodbye to them tonight after drive, just so that you know. And it's just, I think just Brian and I that will be here. Pete Bright will be coming down tomorrow, and hopefully the three of us will be able to get something out on Monday. We'll see how far we get with taking everything off of our base in Manuleti and moving it all here to Djuma Game Reserve. Going to be a little different, I suppose, because we'll be operating from here instead of having to commute every day, which has been a wonderful thing because it's given us a chance to look at tracks and to see, and not only see tracks but see animals too. We found an elephant on the way in this morning. There was another elephant on the way here where I am right now. We're sitting right next to one of the masts that help with our broadcast, and we just went to actually officially switch off Jigger for the time being, because for now it's only going to be me, and you're stuck with me and Brian and the thumb on camera for when we come back on Monday. But today, let's go and see what we can find for you. And I hope you're going to send in questions at wildearth.tv. And if you want to tweet, it's #SafariLive. So let's go see what we can get for you. I think we'll have to go and find that elephant that we saw earlier, and see if we can find some tracks to follow. Tracks of big male lion at the gate, crossing over from Buffelshoek going into Elephant Plains. 5 big males, I believe. I didn't count the tracks, but I heard them talking about 5 males that crossed over yesterday. I saw their tracks now. I think they might have been staying at Sydney's Jam at the time, because nobody could find their tracks yesterday. Can't come here without going to Impala Plains to see what's on the open plain. A little bit of an open area. It actually does have a herd of impala that live on it. We've seen a number of animals hunting here, including all 3 of the big cats in the past. A number of the big marula trees here have had kills from Karula, and her boy is Mishu and Induna. Hyena coming up on the right from down there, and you got hyena tracks here too. Maybe the same one. They look about the same size, one going down and coming back. They're quite pointed. those tracks because of the claws. Leopard's more round, and of course the lobes at the back of the foot. Somebody's been walking here with boots. Really beautiful sight in the morning when you get the light behind us and you get the greenery of the trees popping out, and you can see all this, the silver cluster leaf tucked in amongst all of this, a very pale green, almost silvery leaf. You can actually make out all of the cluster leaf on the opposite hillside. Two birds in the road, one on each side. See if anyone can identify them. I guess just send an email with the heading with the name. There they go. Oh, you might not have got a good chance to. Little white patch on the forehead. These two don't, oh, they're flying, don't fly, they're flying. Magpie shrikes don't need much of an introduction. The whole family of them are actually singing at the moment. I'm going to pop onto Triple M. Up onto this main road and see if there's been anything up and down this main road. It's a bit bumpy here, but Google, not the crowned lapwing, close, lapwing family. first correct answer coming into my studio this morning, all the way from the Netherlands. Thank you, RC, in the Netherlands. Now known as the Senegal plover or the lesser black-winged plover. Elephant tracks. I'm looking for lion tracks. They crossed over from east to west, quite far from where we are now, up at the gate. But it would have been interesting to see if they came south. I guess they didn't. Morning this morning. Unusually so for this time of the year, normally very hot temperatures. Hello, other vehicle coming our way. We'll just sneak off into Juno again, away from traffic. But not much happening on the main road. Jill and Twitter. Morning, Jill. Tweeted it for a lens cup in my eyes. Jill wants to know if I've ever seen an African golden cat. No, never been to the places where they exist. I think that's African golden cat. Isn't it somewhere up in Somalia or Ethiopia, Horn of Africa? You don't get them here. Africa. I don't even know if they've ever been filmed. African golden cat. Like this, the small spotted cat, the black-footed cat. Okay, book time. African golden cat for Jill. Jill. Testing my knowledge here. Where do the golden cats come from? Oh, well, let's see. Mostly Central Africa. Yes, I was wrong. I was a little bit further to the eastern side of Africa. I'm going to wait till we're not facing the sun because it'll be easier to show you. Like mostly everywhere where the caracal doesn't occur, but the entire central region, almost along the equator, barely into East Africa. It looks like a might touch on Lake Victoria in terms of the distribution. African golden cat, quite an incredible cat. Let's have a look quickly. Two of Africa's cats. This one on the left is the caracal, or we also call a lynx, very different to the North American, or very different to other lynxes that people know about. Here's the African golden cat. And if you look at this map of Africa, you can see the distribution of the caracal in pink, and that little bit of the Central Africa touching onto, I don't know where that would be. That would be, let me see what it says about distribution. The forested regions of tropical Africa, and there's a related species in South Asia, Temminck's golden cat. One area I have never been to, of course, is West and Central Africa. One day, if I'm lucky, I'd love to go to Gabon, Cameroon, places there that I've heard about. Hi everyone, sorry we lost you. These things happen. It's a live broadcast. I've seen it happen to some of the most well-known TV stations, just from the outside broadcast vehicles, and they're very specially designed trucks and things. We, on the other hand, are an even more special kind of outside broadcast unit, coming to you live from a beautiful corner of Africa known as Djuma Game Reserve, part of the Greater Kruger National Park. Kay, hello morning Kay. Kay had a question. What? Ants? Yeah. Oh, army ants or what? Going across the road. Whoa, siafu. I need to get them in the sun though. It's quite an interesting phenomenon. These are known as driver ants, or soldier ants. No, kind of an army ant kind, but not the army ant that is the big black one. These are tiny little red ants. They're far more common in East Africa than down here in South. I haven't seen a colony of them for quite some time. They can build bridges, they can spread across water. They are incredible ants, and it looks like, unfortunately, not having seen them, I disturbed the column a little bit by driving over them, and other vehicles that have been in and out as well have done so. when they're on the march, they can spread out into sort of quite a wide fan, and they will consume almost everything in their path. Insect, small mammal, bird if it's caught, or if it's a carcass. They a cleanup crew of note. And there are stories in East Africa how people encourage them. They use fire to drive them into their homes, because they'll go through a home like a fine-tooth comb, and of course they'll eat anything they find: cockroaches, other ants, any other insect that can't get away from them, and then they head back to their colony. Here, look, Franklin and the baby Franklin, two chicks. Oh, they ran off the road. Now how close you're getting to them. Quite interesting. I suppose in a way kind of like fire ants, but they don't have any venom or anything. So when they bite, you get soldiers of that. Or I suppose with all ants, as you do, you get soldiers, and they've got much bigger mouth parts, and they are able to bite. In fact, some of the soldiers have got such large, grotesque heads with such large mandibles that they can be used to close cuts, force the ant to close the wound. They don't let go once they bite. Elephant tracks. Doesn't even have wrinkles under its feet yet. Ellen, morning Ellen. Ellen is in Utah. Ellen wants to know, where in Africa have I been? I was listening to the radio. Ellen. Lion Tree Road. Not going up. Sorry, Franklin. We're in Africa. Well, let's see. Here in South Africa, of course, in a number of reserves and national parks. My first excursion out of South Africa was to the Okavango Delta in 1993, 1994. 94 and 95, somewhere around there. And then going around, there's an elephant. Beautiful in this morning light, silhouetted almost. Kay was asking that behavior of that elephant yesterday. Kay was asking whether it's not possible that it was from eating fermenting marula fruits. I don't think so, Kay. That doesn't happen. I know it's been a myth and a legend and a story that's been told for decades now, but it's not true. When one sees how many marulas, in fact now's the time, because now we've sort of just been through peak marula season here. You're actually going to go and watch this elephant consume. Go and see this boy. He's eating marula fruits. Lovely big Ellie. All of the dung that we see lying around at the moment, and there aren't that many dung beetles also. I think the cooler weather, they're pretty much done, the dung beetles. They're all emerged with the good rains of midsummer, December. And nowadays the elephant dung doesn't really get spread very quickly, but if it did, you'd notice probably about 80% of the dung is marula fruits in some cases, and you could probably be able to recover up to 80% of those marulas that are undigested and have just come out whole again. So I think from that, that's evidence enough that since they don't really digest that many marulas, it's not possible. Plus, because of the size of an elephant and the way it does digest food and the way its stomach does work. So you're just showing us your back. I want to just get around to the other side of the sun. I mean, the tree. Oops. Lots of marulas here that I'm on. Hope he doesn't mind. So they'd have to consume bucket loads full of marulas, and they'd have to sit in the stomach and ferment further, and so it doesn't really happen. Morning, sir. Actually, we could probably get around, but I think he might just turn around and come back this way. He's just picking up marulas on that side of the tree, and I'm hoping that he's going to come around. You might hear a few beeps because I've got to put batteries in my little camera. Can't pass up a nice shot. Early morning elephant bull. What a way to set the mood for a Saturday. So, do we know this little boy? Not such a little boy, he's a young man. Probably mid-late 20s. Finally, takes so long to get to turn the beep off. Hope you weren't disturbed by that, everyone. It does take quite a nice wide angle shot, and to have a big Ellie under a big marula tree, it just fills the frame. Good morning, Claire, in New York. Claire wants to know if it's true that African elephants are far more dangerous than their Asian cousins. I don't think so, Claire. And circumstances will determine whether elephants become dangerous or not. And certainly you'll find on foot, elephant cows don't really tolerate us humans on foot. Now, sometimes bulls don't either. And of course, a lot of times animals have been given a reputation because the first experience they had with modern humans was with people trying to shoot them. Because more about safari in the old days was all about shooting animals rather than just observing them and enjoying them. Even scientific community. Are you rubbing your eye, Mr. Ellie? Good morning, sir. Hello. Can we follow you, please? May we join your morning stroll? I used to have a big elephant like that I could follow on foot. And statistically, I think there's more conflict in certain parts of Asia with elephants because human populations are putting more pressure on elephants. Maybe in, I suppose, parts of Africa too, in fact, where elephant populations have, if not all, been wiped out. I guess there's always going to be conflict, elephant-human conflict, because of human need or need to grow crops. And elephants believing that we grow them for them. Interestingly, nice developments happening and better ways to coexist with elephants by protecting crops with either chili or bees. Both seem to work. But I think it's more circumstance that dictates whether elephants are dangerous or not, and that's the bottom line, is that they can be equally as dangerous. I think maybe in parts of Asia where elephants are used and abused, I think there might be more incidents of them turning on handlers and keepers and humans, because they get put into situations that they just can't seem to handle. And there's just not that many African elephants that are used for similar things. I mean, there are a few elephant-backed safari operators, and here in South Africa there are a few what they call elephant sanctuaries, where old circus or captive elephants have been brought back to South Africa, and because they've been in captivity and because they've pretty much dependent on humans, they get to work with humans every day for tourists to take photographs and to perform tricks here and there. I don't mean like a circus trick, I mean intelligent tricks. There are elephants here in Africa that are being used for anti-poaching. Their amazing sense of smell and their ability to track poachers has been proven. Perhaps not used as widely as they could be. But it's fairly recent that African elephants have been, I wouldn't say tamed, I wouldn't say domesticated. There's another lovely big bull at the back. Wow, he's huge. Must be a brother in arms with this bull. I wonder if he's going to move this branch. Message from Canada, from Kokomo's brother Broby. Kokomo's not here at the moment, the magnetic monkey. Broby wanted to see Impala, but an elephant will do. Morning, Fabienne and Broby. The other bull's not even stopping at marula trees, he's just on a mission, heading south. Having said that, he's not stopping. So we'll stay with this one for the time being. We are I think they must have been in contact, because now he's heading down towards him. Just by the way, that lovely big bush that was behind him was a big gardenia. One of the biggest here. Ooh. think they're going to meet up. I think because this bull now heading straight for the other bull who has stopped under a marula tree. Maybe he asked the other one to wait up. So we can try and get up to that other bull. It'd be nice to see them greeting each other. Get an idea of their relationship. Just it came closer, not necessarily going to walk straight up to him. About the same age, I'd say, these two bulls, although this one looks a bit smaller. I thought he was big because I only saw his back. He is quite a big bull though. Other one's bigger. And a third bull, also moving parallel to the one we've been following, a much younger one I think, by the looks of things. But this would be a gang, I guess, bunch of boys who pretty much go everywhere together. They don't have to be right next to each other, they probably meet up and play around at the water hole. Those two heading towards Philemon's Dip. And flies. I'll find a buffalo. Yeah, see that one? He's marching quite fast. Almost like he's chasing. Yeah, they met up the other two. They're having a little tussle, just touching trunks, touching foreheads. They've stopped already. Let's see what he does. He's also quite eager to join up there. No, he's not. He's just kind of catching up to them. He's not going towards them. But they're all part of the same group, I'm sure. Definitely the big boy of the three. And this third one got a little bit of a notch out of his left ear. It's the smallest of the three. Morning, Johan. Goeiemorgen. Johan and his 2.5-year-old daughter, who knows, from Australia, by the way, is coming to greet the old man. Oh, old man's punching the tree. Lighting's not right. I need to be on the other side of them. Was it Emma? Johan's daughter's name. But living in Australia, and this young lady knows all the names in Afrikaans. I'm sure Johan also sounding like you came from South Africa, Johan, living in Australia now. Glad that we can bring you a little piece of home. No need for greetings, I guess, because they've been together all along. They just went right together. Oh, he kicked the younger bull. Did you see that? Backed into him, almost as though, leave my marula fruits alone. Now the younger bulls can't headbutt the trees like these older bulls can. It takes a lot of practice, and it needs a much bigger body than the younger bulls have. They try, then fortunately marulas don't give too much, but sometimes they'll shake trees that give when they push on them, and so the key is, the trick is to strike the tree when it's, after you've pushed it, when it comes back on its backswing. And getting that rhythm right can be quite difficult for an elephant. And can be quite fun to watch. I'm just going to move again, Viam. Just by the way, Viam spells his name W-I-U-M.
I don't spell it like that.
Don't you?
My parents spell it like that.
Oh, sorry, Viam's parents spelled it like that. But I've just seen a few other variations. I don't like me, my name's with a C. I don't get offended when it's spelled with a K. It's just, it's not my name. So this youngster's still a teenager. Now yesterday I was asked about young elephant bulls getting kicked out of the herd, and I was saying they don't really get kicked out of the herd, but what they do is they find older bulls to mentor them, and they join up with older bulls and they follow them around for a few years, even longer. And clearly a relationship going here with these three, because, well, especially with the older bull being quite comfortable with this young bull eating the marula fruits that he shook off of the tree. Looks like he's been headbutting a few marulas of late. attempt number 3. Puffer dust. Do that again, please, Mr. Ellie. Wow. Quite a big elephant in size, that third one. Tusks shorter than this one's, but just judging by the way he was walking by, be a tough one. You'd need to see the two of these two together. This one and the one that just walked by. Quite deftly scooping up bits of sand and just throwing sand on himself as he walks by. Helps with the flies. Cooling. Bunch of reasons why they'll do that. Morning, Carol Ann, Rapid City. Carol Ann is asked. They do, Carol, and they do indeed. You would find that with these two bulls, because of the discrepancy in size, there'll never be a serious fight. The little one will run away if the bigger bull got serious, but they will spar, and they'll certainly get, well, the little one will get a big lesson in how to spar with another male. It's part of the whole reason why they spend time in these bachelor herds. It's to get to learn each other and to know where you stand in elephant society. But then sometimes you get really big older bulls who won't back down, and they believe that they are the strongest. And when you sometimes get two matching bulls, the fight can get really intense. And it's probably one of the most powerful things to ever witness. Some of the bigger bulls that make this big bull look like a baby. He's not small. This boy is he's a big Ellie. Thank you, Mr. Elephant, sir. Three together. Well, I guess now we know who is the biggest. Kind of a good question, I suppose. Elaine, morning to you. How can elephants get so big just by eating salad, as Elaine puts it, without the salad dressing? It is, I suppose, a remarkable feat. Such a large animal being able to sustain itself purely on vegetable matter, vegetation. A little bit of dominance play going on. He's purposely backing up towards the other bull, try and claim more ground for marula fruit. So there's a little bit of a "this is mine, don't cross this line" type of pity we can't see that properly. The two of them having a little bit of a pushing match, not for anything other than fun. The youngster's looking to see what the older bull's eating. Got his trunk in the bull's mouth. Morning, Liv. Live and live. Lives in Brooklyn, by the way. Visited Brooklyn once upon a time. Liv wants to know about the oxpeckers. We see the oxpeckers on a lot of the other herbivores. They're not clean the elephants. Do we not get oxpeckers on elephants? Funny enough, not here in South Africa, Liv. I've seen in East Africa egrets and oxpeckers. Okay, well, occasionally oxpeckers, but quite often egrets sitting on elephant back. But for some reason oxpeckers don't have much of an association with the elephants in this part of the world. Not that I have seen. I do say that I've spent quite a lot of time with elephants in this part of the world over the last few decades. Many decades. Okay, I want to, because the light isn't really good. These three, wherever they're going to go after here, maybe we'll come back and have a look. But for now, I want to just have a look around some bushes. We were going to do it yesterday and we forgot. But For those of you who were with us yesterday, we were with a family, a mom and her 2 children, for quite a long time. And then they, very similar to what's happened here, as they came and met up with another family over here. And a whole bunch of them started moving north again. But the middle child of the first 3, the oldest child, was very upset. It was actually quite neurotic. And they seem to have concentrated a lot of energy and a lot of aggression towards these bush willows next to us here. And then when I drove here to try and come and find out what was going on, that cow actually looked like she wanted to chase me. And I just had to drive away. But for whatever reason it was, I thought maybe there was a leopard hiding in here. And it's pretty thick and pretty well concealed. Or I don't know, I guess we should have looked yesterday. And maybe she wasn't really running towards me to chase me, but maybe running towards me to warn me. There's the kind of place where a leopard will be able to get into. Now you can see where elephants have broken a lot of branches and pushed a lot of wood around. She was going crazy here yesterday, that young female. Broke this big branch. I'm starting to think there must have been something in here. But why she started going crazy so far away? Maybe she caught wind of something and none of the other elephants did, and she was trying very hard to convince the rest that there was something untoward. Obviously, maybe it was now covered in Ellie tracks. I don't know, quite strange. We'll never know, I suppose. Morning, Jenny. Jenny is in Virginia. Nice to have you on board with us again, Jenny. How does the wind affect animal behavior? Well, strong wind can affect it quite negatively. Wind itself obviously has the largest impact on sound, and here's going to shake trees again. No, not yet. Sound is probably one of the most important senses out in the bush, because there are not only the sounds of animals walking and twigs breaking and leaves crunching, but there are also the sounds of all the creatures that live in the bush, and the difference between their alarm calls and their normal sounds. And when the wind blows, well, not only do a lot of things stay quiet, but sound will only come from, and smell, of course, will only come from one direction. Now, those are kind of important facets of an animal's survival, or aspects of an animal's survival. So animals do tend to get nervous sometimes. They do tend to, we're talking about prey species now, they do tend to hide sometimes if the wind is cold. You see, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, whether it's a cold wind, a warm wind, strong wind, or a breeze. But it does affect everything's behavior in some ways. gonna throw some sand. This is such beautiful light with the dust and the sun. Morning, sir, elephant, sir. They're almost parting ways now. I think we'll leave them for a little bit. Let's go to Treehouse Dam and have a look around a little bit. We'll come back again. I think we'll go and see what else has been moving around during the night. I'd love to just stay with them, but let's go see what else there is. We've got another drive this afternoon. It'd be nice to catch up with some tracks of other things. Feeding bird, hyena, elephant dung. Of course, predators in the wind, Jenny. Predators are more likely to be able to stalk better. They can get closer to their prey, perhaps, if they use the wind properly. So it'll affect predator behavior. It'll affect in a different way, I guess. Morning, Holly. Going up to Minnesota from Virginia. Holly wants to know, how long does an elephant care for its calf after birth? If it's a female calf, pretty much 20 or 30 years. Well, kind of in that sense. Right through puberty. I suppose you could say into the teens, Holly. Of course, because elephant cows stay with the family, and the family, it's all a sort of well, it's a very tight-knit unit, and everybody cares for each other within the family. So, from that aspect, there's always care right into adulthood. But I suppose you're meaning more sort of child care. And that goes on right into puberty, which is about the same as with humans. Perhaps not as much care given to the younger bulls. Over time, by the time they're 8 to 10 years old, there's not that much participation of the young bulls in the herd. They're still with the herd, but they tend to lag behind. They tend to choose their own space within the herd. They don't really become actively involved as the young females do at the same age, because by the time young females are getting to that age, they're starting to become babysitters, and they starting to help care for the new arrivals, and they've got to learn the pros and cons of having children, and how to care for them themselves. There's obviously a lot that is instinctive when it comes to childbirth and rearing, but there's a lot in terms of what has to be learned. And elephants are one of those creatures that almost everything they do, it has to be learned. It's not, you know, they're not born with wonderful knowledge. So that's where the maternal care still engages in that. The mother is still teaching her teenage daughter how to be a mother. There was nothing at the waterhole last night. Jumacam, the dam waterhole camera, the dam camera at Juma Dam. I want you to think I'm cursing. Waterhole camera. Safer.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing
Okay. The cats though. Yes. Hillbilly in New York wants to know if elephants ever sneeze. Have I ever been caught in the line of fire? Never been caught in the line of fire, no. Do they sneeze? Well, I've sort of a sneeze. Wouldn't exactly be anything to sneeze about. What are you being cautious about, old man buffalo? Oxpeckers like to drink water too. One of them has gone down his leg and is drinking, but the others are trying to walk down onto his face so that they too can drink. I suppose if he lies down, they'll get better access, because of course they want to drink clean water, and when they land on the edge of the pan, oh, there goes the green-backed heron that just flew away. On the edge of the pan is very muddy, so they like to get to where they can reach the cleaner water, which is when he's wading and when he's moving into the water. Let's continue. A very peaceful scene. Some Egyptian geese, some plovers. There was a greenback heron that flew off. Sadly, they tend to stick to the grasses. They tend to stick to thicker cover. They're very intelligent birds, the smaller herons. Some of them are known to actually put bait out to catfish. Warthog in the road. Jim, on email wants to know if you're from Norway.
I'm African born and bred.
African born and bred. Me too. So I guess not Ryan. Norway. No, the origins of your name.
It's short of my full name.
Oh, it's more or less a German name. German ancestry.
Yeah.
Goes with my name too. So much. Catch that thing, Roller. It's chasing something on the ground.
You can see there behind your hat.
Yeah, I know, I was just trying to move, but it was like that delicate situation that I didn't want it to fly. Here it is, right here. Something was moving around that it wanted.
Stop there.
If I go a little forward, you can get a little bit of colour. Hello, Mr. Impala. Not often you can get so close to a lilac-breasted roller. Take this opportunity to take my pullover off because it's getting hot all of a sudden. Hello, Roller. And it's gone. I guess I wasn't watching. Trying to get hooked up again to the earpiece. Partly cloudy from blue skies early this morning. Now partly cloudy. See what builds up during the day. Impala's looking at another impala, which is looking at something else. I think it's just impala, looking at impala. Morning, Marianne in Boston. What do elephants and other animals eat in winter? Well, in this part of the world, Marianne, they pretty much eat a lot of what they eat now. Just different parts of it, I suppose. They eat a lot, maybe a lot more bark, a lot more root. In dry season, a lot of these trees store a lot of moisture and nutrients in their roots, so the elephants dig up trees, they push trees over to, especially the bush willows, to get to their roots. There's a lot of moisture in the roots. There's still a lot of trees that have leaves that they'll be eating. The Mapanis keep their leaves going into the wet, or rather into winter, into the dry season. Where in this season the green grasses have got a lot of nutrients in their leaves. In the dry season, those same grasses also have more nutrients in the rootstock. So elephants are likely to eat the roots of grasses in winter. Always something to eat. I think it would be very different if there was snow and if we had really cold temperatures that would freeze things, frost. I mean, winter is a word that is used because the sun is in the northern hemisphere and technically it's winter. And there are places in South Africa that get bitterly cold and even have snow. But here in the Lowveld it doesn't happen. We don't even get really that cold. It can get to fairly close to 0 centigrade Celsius. And even then, some things have a hard time dealing with the cold, but generally, it doesn't. Things don't freeze up. And while we are in a dry season, because we have a wet summer, and we are in our wintry dry season, might be the dry season, but it doesn't mean that life ceases to exist. And sometimes you see, when you look at the bush now, you can't believe how brown and dry it can be, and that most of the trees lose their leaves. Hard to believe these things when it is all green. And it's also hard to believe how they can actually find anything to eat, let alone, well, not only elephants, but giraffe and zebra, wildebeest, impala, primates. But they do. In Boston, morning Beth. Curious about the branch that I picked. Yes, Beth, you're right, it is a magic quarry. I picked it because I've had a few of those very tiny little flies that you get on buffalo, and they irritate me when they walk on up my nose. I'm tired of hitting myself with my hand. Uh-oh. Some tracks. I think it's hyena. Yeah, hyena. But other uses. I mean, I've used much bigger branches of guarri for fighting fires because these leaves don't come off very easily. These little branches, this is nice little flowers. The branches themselves have been used in the past as divining rods because of the way they grow with a very nice V. This, by the way, for Teresa, monkey orange. I think it's Teresa. We was watching monkey oranges grow. We haven't seen them a month ago, and a few weeks ago I saw some very small ones. I'm going to try and get closer to those. That's about a bit bigger than a golf ball, I'd say. They're still going to get much bigger than that. Strychnos. The monkey orange. Very, very hard shell. We'll see in a couple of weeks' time if we can find one on the ground and try and open it up for you. It does have an edible fruit pulp inside that orange. Orange is not really the correct thing to think of because it's not a citrus, so it doesn't look anything like an orange, or rather inside it doesn't. Its only resemblance to an orange is maybe the size and shape. That's the green monkey orange, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You do get a monkey orange that does turn a little yellowish, orangish. This tiny monkey orange, Strychnos spinosa. But the seeds themselves contain strychnine. So the seeds can be poisonous if you bite into them. But you can eat the pulp. Quite a nice tasting fruit. A little bit of a dry texture, but a nice taste. Hello, kingfisher. And of course the other thing with a magic worry branch, and I suppose you could use a number of different trees, but the guarri works well because of the fibrous nature of it. It's just the way it grows. It doesn't break very easily. And it's making a toothbrush. Traditional toothbrushes or traditional teeth cleaning instruments were made from guarri branches. Obviously a little bit thicker than this. This is a bit thin to use as a toothbrush. Combination of a guarri branch and the ash of a very heavy wood tree, of a leadwood or a bush willow. I can't really find leadwood lying around anymore very much. So much of it has been burnt in the past for firewood, or dead trees cut down to use as poles for holding up roofs or fence posts. Mostly because it doesn't rot and it doesn't get attacked by insects or fungi. But the ash of it is very abrasive. I've used it as like a polishing compound. And the tannins in the guarri actually have antibacterial properties, as they found. So it is quite a viable alternative to Aquafresh, Mum. Find your flower, Gloria. Hope you're going to get well soon. Gloria is in hospital, I think. Why are lilac-breasted rollers called rollers? I suppose for the same reason Eurasian rollers are called rollers, or thick-billed rollers, broad-billed rollers, I mean, purple rollers. All the rollers are a family of birds that have a rather unique flight display pack, and they roll in the sky. They do barrel rolls, they do big loops, and they do fancy rolling actions. All part of their flight display to establish and maintain territory and warn others away from their territory. And I suppose in some ways to attract mates. Not quite like tumbler pigeons. They don't quite tumble the way tumbler pigeons tumble. They're kind of bred that way. I think it was Darwin that played around with genetics a lot and bred tumbler pigeons, and he found that, well, he bred two different types of pigeons that resulted in these tumblers that he could breed to a point where they tumbled too much and actually tumbled into the ground. They would go into a tumble spin. We'd have to dial the genetics back a little bit so that they could tumble in the air but not hit the ground. So rollers don't quite tumble, but they do roll. In fact, it's quite amazing to see lilac-breasted rollers in action, because they're some of the best rollers of all. And you almost can tell when they're going to do so, because most of the time that we see lilac-breasted rollers, they're perched on a branch somewhere and they're hunting from a perch. They don't really catch stuff in midair like bee eaters do, and they always hunt from a perch. But every now and then you'll see a roller circling, trying to get higher and higher, and if you see that, you need to watch, because it's gaining height to be able to roll. And invariably what happens is the roller will tuck in its wings, and it'll dive down and then open the wings and go into a big loop, and sometimes do a complete roll upside down. And at the end of the rolls, it flies back to its perch, bearing its wings to the whole world, from side to side, making a very particular noise, showing off that lovely blue. Interesting. I wonder if we go and catch up with those three bulls. Let's see if we can go and find them again. last of the sausages fell off the tree. In Texas, the largest species of rodent that we have is probably the cane rat. No, well, I guess actually, to think of it, the porcupine. Undoubtedly the largest species of rodent. Porcupines, I think, are a little bit bigger than North American. Unfortunately, almost exclusively nocturnal. Very hard to find the likes of a porcupine. Well, we might get lucky one evening. These boys have wandered off somewhere. Morning, Liz, in the UK. How are you this morning, Liz? Thanks for that lovely email, Liz. Liz wants to see a false marula. So where we are right now, we mostly only got big marula trees, no false marulas. But I will find you one. What I'd like to do is just stop by our not too big. Zebra were here. Zebra were here. Oh, there they are. We'll try and get to see them in a bit, in a short while. They're just right on the other side of. Well, see one. It's like a stallion watching us. need a leaf I can stretch on this one maybe. Okay, so Liz, this is a marula tree, as you know, because you know marulas. This is one marula leaf that I have here. Now we're going to find a false marula and a false marula leaf. You notice the bark of the marula tree is almost like a mosaic pattern. Very easy to see. I mean, there's one here in front of us now, different colors, grey. Little pieces fall off to reveal lighter pieces underneath. Uh-oh. You're doing it in the road, tortoises. One tortoise eating marula fruits coming out of elephant dung. And another tortoise. Oh, sorry boy, did we? No, shame we disturbed the lovemaking. And she's just going to go back to eating marula fruits. Aufschön. Tukil. Sure. Namukil. Tol. Awanile Ndlov. There were 3 earlier southern end of quarantine. I don't know where they gone now. Tortoises have now left the building. Tech, did you have Ingwe on Eastern Channel?
Yeah, Vula crossing to Churchwood, but was coming towards Churchwood.
Okay.
Coming more to the west. Maybe he might come out to the cut line.
Okay, that's nice to know.
Younger boys also at and also the Humangala. Churchwood, sorry, Devlisuk boundary, Yellow Road. Just on that small pen, about 50 meters.
Can you see them from before the cut line? Maybe. Maybe they'll come out tonight.
Yeah, I think so, because I was coming.
Okay. Bye. Interesting fit, or rather hingeback tortoises mating. Rudely interrupted by us humans. Another tortoise, another hingeback, but he's on the fence line. He's also eating marula fruits that have fallen down. Oh, here's an elephant. The Texan just drives straight past him. I thought I heard right in the bushes. I thought I heard branches breaking, and I thought maybe I drove over a twig. I think he's trying to find a lot of ripe marulas here that haven't really been fed on much. This is on the edge of the owner's house. The owner of Juma Game Reserve has a house here, and he has a fence around it to protect his family. And there haven't been many elephants right here on the edge of this fence to feed on these marulas that have fallen. Looks like he's trying to find his way in to the base of these trees where there's probably a lot of fruits. Little did he know that if he came around here he'd find a few. But the wind is blowing that way, so he probably picked up the scent from the other side of this bush. That's why it's come from that angle. He's coming through. I'll give him some space. Come on then. Turn around. There you go. Now you can get to them a little bit better. Where'd your friends go, Ellie? This is one of the boys from this morning. You can see that hole in his left ear. That's quite easy way to recognize him. His tusks are not, there's nothing that's very particular about his tusks other than they're really nice and parallel and even. Left tusk has a little bit of a wear on it where he breaks branches, as most elephants do get that, where they lever their branches to break them, lever them over the tusk and snap them. Ah. Go away, birds are shouting. There's a hawk eagle or something flying. Must be an aerial predator. You see, Mr. Ellie, if you
Teach him naughty things.
oh, they know it already. Can you see how we don't get a chance to see them actually picking up the fruits. He's loading 5, 6. There's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And throws them into his mouth. 2 little fingers that are. He mustn't go too close to that bottom strand there, Mr. Ellie. Like a little hand picking them all up and tossing them into his mouth. Using feel as well as to some extent sight, but there are a lot of whiskers on his trunk and that helps him to feel around, and of course then there's the smell that he's picking up as well, especially some of those ripe fruit. This little corner where there's so many fruits that have fallen and haven't been eaten, it smells very, very sweet. In fact, most of them have rotted away already. Morning, Arkiet in Arkansas. Wanting to know if you can age an elephant by the size of its tusks. No, you can't. Not at all. Because some elephants have big tusks and some elephants have small tusks. Some elephants have no tusks. He's very well aware of how far he can put his trunk. Just reaching underneath that bottom strand of the electric wire. Careful, careful. So tusks are more genetic. Obviously they do continue to grow throughout an elephant's life, but there isn't really any way to tell age just by tusk size. Getting a bit hot. I don't need to. That's what Africa's about. Well, good morning, Doris. Maryland. Are you going to the dam, Mr. Ellie? I'd like to follow you if you're going, because it'd be nice to see if you're going to have a mud bath. You're just going back to marula trees. Doris wants to know about the headband that I'm wearing around my hat on my head. Doris, this is not African. It is actually North American. It comes from Ohio. I think it's Crow, North American, Native American. Liz, we're still gonna find ourselves a false marula. He's getting that gait, that sort of swagger that elephants get when they want to get to the water, but I think he's going to pass by a few marula trees on the way. Might take a while. But that head swaying, almost a trot, is thanks to Clancy, the headband. I do have a couple of others. Straight down to Gowrie Dam. Do not pass marula. Do not collect marula fish. I know we'll probably find false marulas down there below the dam. We'll get there. We will get there. No. He stopped at a marula tree. No, he's still going. Still marching. No, he stopped. Yeah. Let's go down to the dam and we'll keep tabs on him. Buffalo here. Somebody drove over a marula infested elephant dung. Going to get that buffalo bull. Looks like. Good morning. How are you, Craig? Morning all.
How are you, sir?
Good, and you? Didn't blow up there for once.
Anything on Ingwe?
Nothing, not even Mkonzi. Not this morning. I haven't done much. He had 2 mates, and there were 3 of them on quarantine earlier, so I spent quite a bit of time with them.
Okay.
Did a bit of a drive, Weaver's Nest around Treehouse and up on Zoe's, Elephant Plains, up to, I mean, Impala Plains, up to Sandy Patch, but nothing up that way. Any word on those boys that came past the gate?
No, nothing.
Texan was saying something about Mvula and Torchwood.
Bless you, yeah, we
Thanks.
came from our side,
Yeah.
crossed over to Torchwood. Then Kume, Ngala, they on Dollarite Road.
Yeah. So hopefully they might come across later.
Otherwise, yeah, it's a couple of elephants here and there, and
Yeah.
some Dagger boys at Torchwood Dam.
I don't think any dam you'll find them now. Well, it's starting to get warm.
Bit of a cracker of a dam.
Bring
Anyway,
the rain.
you know if that BC Kaya is active off Cheetah Cut Line?
No, the one right there in the corner.
Yeah, I know. Sean was there yesterday or 2 days ago. Said there was a female around there.
I noticed there was, the last time I went past there, I noticed there's some fresh excavations.
Yeah.
Because there were some bones and things lying from years ago.
Nothing on the one on Weaver's Nest.
There are some tracks there. The most tracks that I see come out of Gallagher Shortcut every morning and every evening. So I don't know if there's maybe something there.
That's thick though.
It is. And there used to be one here on Mvubu, but that one isn't active. Okay, I'll see you later.
See you later.
Have fun, everyone. Catching up with Cheetah Plains. Of course, Cheetah Plains used to be the old Juma Bush Lodge. I'll leave Craig to go and view that elephant with his guests in peace. And we'll just see what we can find out Twin Dams Road for now. Okay. Leave Craig to go and view that elephant with his guests. Maybe a false you need it. Find possible find one got low enough to get one. This blue nest. This is the Wahlbergs. So while I'm looking for a false marula, let me do something please. Get different honey. take a raisin bush leaf as one leaf. And normally the stem of the leaf, which is that little one there, it's only a small stem, that's called a petiole. So simple leaf and the stem being a petiole. Now you also get a leaf called a compound leaf, which is the same kind of thing, but instead of having just one surface area, it multiplies its surface area, but that reduces the surface area, but multiplies its chances of photosynthesis and oxygen and everything by having what we call leaflets. So this is a compound leaf, and the parts of the compound leaf are there are things leaflets. So this is one leaf, and this, of course, this is the stem, which would be the petiole. But because these are leaflets, they've also got a stem, so that's called a petiolule. And it sounds confusing. Petiole, petiolule. Now, the false marula. Come on, false marula, where are you? Okay, just throw away the raisin bush. This is a simple leaf. We're dealing with compound leaves now. Compound leaves with, as you can see, it's got what we call a terminal leaflet. There's one on the end. The elephants have broken a lot of the false marulas. Buffalo thorns, acacias and worries, and wattle. In fact, Liz, if you're still watching, if you're still here, still waiting for your false marula, you'll probably find at Motswari they also have been the same elephant, obviously. Probably been hammering the false marulas at Motswari as well. Somebody standing in the pan, a chela pan, saw a tail. It's a buffalo. One horn buffalo. Later, Mr. Buffalo, enjoy your mud box. We won't disturb you right now. We've got to find a tree. I know, let's go through the riverbed onto the other side. missing that Ellie at the dam. I hope he's going to be waylaid from Marulas for a while. I'm on a mission. Sounds like Crested Barber's having a singing competition. There he goes. Harrier hawk. Never managed to get it relaxed here at the tree. Got quite a lot of new material on the nest as well. We'll just stop there. Torchwood tree. There is a little down feather blowing in the wind. Maybe there's a chick up there now. Donna. Morning, Donna. How's Maine these days? How did you fare with the wind and the snow and the blizzards? Donna wants to know if we're still going to be traversing Arathusa with the drives carrying on for a little while. I guess so. I'm still waiting to hear more details about the coming drives. All we know so far is that we are going to be doing them. We are going to continue for a little while. So for now, Donna, I am assuming that we can. Here's a linear. Now, a lot of linears, a lot of the false marulas, and unfortunately because it's something going on up there, children. Birds are fighting. I'm not too sure why this time of the year it loses a lot of chlorophyll. A lot of the leaves start turning yellow, more like a variegated leaf. And it's hard to see the bark of the tree. But if I can take just a green leaf and we can compare the two, and it's not the best of the marula leaves that I could get. I could probably get a nicer one that the leaves about as big as this. But you can see there's very, very strong similarities. Obviously these leaves are a bit crumbled from caterpillars living in them and not quite full leaves, but very much the same in that this is a compound leaf. It has 3 pairs of leaflets with a terminal leaflet, which is typical of the marula as well. But the one main difference between the false marula and the marula is the lack of the petiole. You'll see that in the marula tree the leaflet has a little stalk on it, whereas in the false marula the leaves are joined straight to the petiole. There is, of course, I mean, now the fact that the leaves are going a little bit yellow, and you'll be able to see other false marulas quite easily because of it, without even having to look at the bark. The leaves themselves are a little bit more of a shiny green. The fruits, now there are false marulas in fruit at the moment, and their fruits are just as edible as marula fruit, but they're much tinier. They're tiny little berry-like fruits that are born in little clumps, as opposed to the big solid fruits of the marula tree. And they're purplish, and you don't eat the skin, you eat the inside. You sort of squeeze the skin like a Gatorba grape, and you squeeze the pip and the fruit into your mouth. That Rhoda. Birds flying, quite big birds, looks like flying over Gowrie Dam. And if that's the fish eagle. And if they are the fish eagles, those are fish eagles. Central Road. Nothing. Well, leopards must have killed somewhere because they're not moving around. Oh, no leopard tracks. This afternoon maybe we'll go to the eastern side of things and go and have a look around Kita Cutline. Evidently Mbula was moving around on Torchwood, and the Kahumas have also been on Buffelshoek, close to Buffelshoek Cutline, so that's something to look forward to. Maybe this evening, if it's not too hot. Of course, being hot, that's a different story entirely, because it could be 8 o'clock before those lions decide to get up. Who are those two? Storks. pair of woolly-necked storks that must have been at the dam that have lifted up. Found a really good thermal because I saw them only a minute ago and they had just lifted. They haven't flapped their wings once, but they are now several hundred feet high. I'd say probably going on for nearly 500 feet easily. Moved much. He's now a little bit closer to the dam, but he hasn't quite moved. Oops, sorry, yeah. If you've managed to catch it, any of you zoomies, because if a fish is sitting there, they'll catch something at some point. I think it's that juvenile that's been hanging around that's finally starting to get its adult colors, because it's looking very mottled. It's not quite a full adult yet, so it probably hasn't found a mate, and is in the process of leaving home, leaving the parents. Interesting thing that the parents do when they're teaching them, the youngsters, to fly. The parents will take a fish high up into the sky, a couple of thousand feet, and they'll drop it for the youngster to come and catch. I suppose we could probably sit here all day waiting for it to catch something. Oh, kingfisher's having a bath. Try and get a little closer. The other day, this might be easier if he'll let us, he or she. No, just not. Sorry, kingfisher. Coming for a swim. Mr. Ellie. Watch him as he saunters down in front of Taylor Lodge. And if we can find a nice place to watch him, I hope. See if we can find a spot to park ourselves close the water's edge. Otherwise we're going to be behind trees now. To have him into the sun, but there might be no option. Zumi from Siberia wants to know if I can find the water. We'll have a look, see if we can find the water buck. We're going to do a water buck. First, we've got some important mud bathing to watch here. If we can. This is not going to be easy. It's going to be a little bit of a weird angle. That VM will have to try and fix. Sorry about that. Okay, let me try another angle. Hang on. Even worse. And you're still level there.
I'm leveled up.
Oh, good. Except for my hat. Just a quick cool down, not much of a bath. A few layers of mud. Eventually a water buck and her new calf somewhere on the other side of the dam. And we'll leave him to just wander off into the bushes. A disappearing elephant trick. Thank you for a lovely morning, Ellie. Don't know where his buddies are. Maybe they've all just gone separate ways for the moment. With going to try and find a water buck with a calf is they'll just run away. The best chance of seeing them is with the camera, because without the vehicle it's likely to come out into the open and you're likely to see things. Water buck can be quite shy. And I'm more or less looking at the same angle as the camera. I mean, we're right behind the camera now. I'm not seeing any water buck on the other side, but we'll come by from time to time. Oh. Did they survive, or did I go over them? They survived? Yep. Jim dropped the sunglasses. Tortoise in the road. I think we might be having rain soon. Number of tortoises we've been seeing. They were such a rarity 20 or 30 years ago, and far fewer leopard tortoises. steenbok in the road. We're not getting to see steenbok very often nowadays. The grasses are getting very, very tall. I think. Not seeing horns. Right, a little boy, little hornbird. Tiny little hornbird starting to grow, so it's only a few months old. Stay there, little boy. Just can get a picture. And we can see you. Good? Our smallest antelope here in the Sabi Sands is this steenbok. Yes, being a youngster, he's not quite used to understand the vehicle thing yet. But maybe he'll grow up being quite accepting of the vehicle. There he goes, just a little bit. The idea is to not give him a negative experience, sort of. It must be quite hard when you're so small that you can barely see through the grasses. Then you've got to depend on smell, mostly hearing. And of course that's why they have such big ears. Better to hear you with, my dear. Yeah, Luri's shouting at an eagle again. Luri's at the top of that marula, but I'm not seeing the birds. The universal alarm call that actually says eagle. It's kind of a different kind of call when there is an eagle flying, because when you have a predator, you got to know whether you're going to look up or you're going to look down. Well, maybe this afternoon we can find some of those predators, aerial or terrestrial. And well, have a wonderful Friday night, what's left of it. Saturday morning for everybody. Those of you heading into Saturday evening, take care. Don't forget your seatbelts. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Don't do like I do, looking away from the road too much. My name is Mark. Liam's been on camera. Alex has been in final control. This has been our Saturday morning drive. We'll see you out afternoon, Saturday afternoon, 1600. 4 o'clock Central African time. From all of us at WildEarth, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the questions. Goodbye. Love you lots. See you later.